Bond Street Theatre and John and Michael particularly, they provide a unique opportunity for people. I've seen it in Afghanistan, and I've seen the way that they interact with their participants, and I think that's been very, very effective.
When we start working with, say, that group of women, that group of girls that we get together, we always say, what do you want to talk about? What's important for you? Child marriage. The idea of selling your daughter to a rich person, it's almost like chattel, really. Also, women's literacy. A lot of the men didn't want their women to learn how to read because it's a dangerous thing. She might have more power. These issues, they would create these stories about, and we would, find a way to make like a whole play. So our job was helping them tell their story the best. The women play the parts of the men. And I'll tell you, they're pretty awesome because they know how the abusive husband acts, what he says, what he does.
Some of the women speak with a very small voice because they're told not to speak up. And so our exercise is to yell your name across the room. You hear everyone saying your name back to you. Yes, I am who I am.
I will give you an example. That's all I can do. When they were in Afghanistan, people were very concerned about young girls being forced to marry older men. The age of women were dropping and dropping and dropping to the point that some of these hadn't even achieved puberty. And they did a play about this. And then they created a youth council. Well, one of those youth leaders learned that his cousin was going to be forced into such a marriage. And given the confidence that he gained from working with Bond Street, he secured a meeting with the chief of their tribe in Afghanistan, and the chief forbid the marriage. So all I can do is respond with what they've done, and that's what gives me tremendous confidence. And that one young woman's life was saved.
Not only do you empower these women telling their stories before a group of their peers, but then you have the reaction of empathy from their peers, and it resonates, and people in the audience think, oh, yes, but that's my story too, but I haven't dared say it. Now that it's out there, then you have to do something about it.
And what's the point of having a women's theater company? Because they can go perform for the women. We did the show about the elections so that they know that they not only have the right to vote, but they must vote, and it's going to be safe for them to vote. And no, your husband can't vote on your behalf. You've got to go out there and do it yourself. This is your right. And this is very effective.
There were no women's theater companies at all anyway, and we had created 4 of them. That's fine, they're performing for the girls' high school, but they're performing for 1,200 girls at the girls' high school. That's 1,200 eyes that have just seen something they had never seen before.
I think altogether in 5 different regions of the country, they have reached about 250,000 people.
When they were traveling in Afghanistan, they were stopped by a member of the Taliban. And he went to the back of their car and he found Mike's stilts, and he thought they were weapons. And with the interpreter, they explained that these were not weapons, these were stilts, and Mike walked on the stilts, and the Taliban officer was pretty taken with Mike, and he was looking at him. Mike was so smart, he taught this man how to be on stilts. And they had a buddy in the Taliban. And to me, that's such a powerful message about what the arts can do. They go to countries where they don't speak the language, and they go into these very strange spaces which were never designed for theater. Prisons, recreation centers, basketball courts, whatever. And they make this magic happen in a short period of time. And at a time when our federal government doesn't believe in supporting the arts, I love that they're sending Bond Street all over the world to do just that.